We are detailing a play that utilizes the new cheat motion on CFB26 for our play of the day here on JCCFB for February 24th. Let's get into it. What's happening? Welcome back into JCCFB, where you can see all kinds of college football 25, 26, and soon to be college football 27 content with me, JC, here today to continue our Play of the Day series as we continue to highlight a college football 26 play that I like to run from one of my 3 custom playbooks, how you can utilize it, when you can utilize it, and what playbooks you can find it here on the game every weekday as we bring you this series Monday through Friday here on the channel. So if you're a fan of the college football video game and you haven't yet, why haven't you? Be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you get these Play of the Day videos directly into your feed every Monday through Friday. Plus, you'll get our college football 27 news updates as those continue to release in the lead up to that game this summer. You can help us out that way, and you can also help out just by hitting that thumbs up button. That way that video will hit the YouTube algorithm more if you click that like button, and it'll find other college football video game fans like you and me. And then just lastly, I'd really appreciate your support, not only because this is part of my full-time job and that helps me be able to keep this mic recording and that camera rolling, but more importantly because then you help yourself to a ton of bonus college football 26 content, including mini schemes, every play in my 3 custom schemes that I've created here on college football 26, detailed behind the scenes videos, a weekly college football recap show, the ability to request a video as a channel member. The list goes on and on there. We really appreciate that support here on JCCFB. But with my babbling out of the way, let's take a look at cheat clear out seam out of gun trips tight end here on college football 26, a passing play that I think you will really like here on the game. All right, play of the day here on February 24th, and continuing back into the OG playbook on CFB 26, motion power option. Words on the screen there if you want to check this one out. A lot of motion, double motion, all of that involved. But we're looking at a pass play out of that playbook today, out of the trips tight end formation, out of the shotgun. We're looking at cheat clear out seam, which of course you can find in that custom playbook. And the other playbook you can find it in on college football 26 is the Minnesota playbook. Love this play. Got a nice halfback angle route with some pull routes involved. Got a nice wheel route with the cheat motion. A lot of good options to go to here on this one, and we're going to dive into each of them. Let's check out the play as we put the defense on a random play here, and let's get into it. So you see, you got your slot man there, Nimrod, coming on the cheat motion and leading into the wheel route, which is a good option on this play depending on who he gets matched up with. On that backside that he leaves, you have a fade route from your inside slot man there, Smith, and I think those slot fades are really good routes. Stick route on the complete backside, seam route from your tight end, which also can get open, especially if the defense is in cover 2 and he can split those safeties. But what I really like on this one is that, you got that fade route, that seam route, and that wheel route, which are all running deep, pulling defenders off for you to potentially hit that running back out of the backfield on that angle route as well. But I think that each route on this play are very viable options, so we will try and highlight each one of those as we run through this thing. There is the cheat motion that I'm referencing. You got a guy following, so that's probably man-to-man coverage. And if that is the case, a lot of times I'm going to try and hit him on that. Just because that's a linebacker he's matched up with. If I had a little bit more space, I probably could have backed this ball up to, close to the 50 and give him a little bit more space, and that probably would have resulted in a touchdown. Kind of limiting space here with us on the 30. But nonetheless, you can see how that works out in man-to-man coverage despite the fact the first one didn't connect. Let's roll again. Zone coverage this time. And we're going to go ahead and hit our check down right here to that angle route underneath. Go ahead and get our 5 to 8 yards right there on that one. Comes our motion man. Looks like they're in zone again, which means I'm going to go ahead and take that route to the running back and go ahead and pick up 10 plus. There comes our cheat motion. He's not following. They're going to be in zone coverage this time. Let's see what we can get. Look how open the running back got that time. And you can see why, that's kind of my, if they're in man-to-man coverage, my initial read is usually, can Nimrod beat whoever's covering him on that wheel route? If not, I'm looking still to that running back. But if it's zone, A lot of times I'm hitting that running back on that angle route. As I said, you got the slot fade, the seam route, and that cheat motion wheel route, pulling defenders off for that running back to run loose underneath. Hey, and that seam route, still viable. Usually it's my go-to in zone. That time they were in man. If you got a tight end like that, throw it up. It's one-on-one. Across the board there on that one, it was one-on-one. Our tight end goes up, makes an aggressive catch, scores a touchdown. Sometimes you'll have that. And there's what I'm talking about in the man-to-man coverage situation. That cheat motion, if that guy's following and it's a linebacker, a lot of times your slot receiver's quick enough to beat that linebacker depending on ball placement and how you attack the ball once you click onto the fender. Click onto the receiver rather, and we ended up with a touchdown there to Nimrod as well. So we've had big gain to the running back, touchdown to our tight end, touchdown to Nimrod on that cheat wheel route as well. As we run it through this time, looks like they're in zone coverage, and that seam route, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. As I said, that seam route a lot of the times is what you want to attack in zone coverage. Right there, wide open for a big gain to that tight end. Man coverage again. Our running back burnt the linebacker that was covering him, but of course he drops the football there. Just my luck. But I do want to show, the other routes on this play. I think for me, it's easy to read this as, just kind of a one side of the field read. I like plays that, all the action are on one side, helps you to be able to read it easier. And I think to me, the top three options are all on that one side there with the cheat wheel route, the seam route to the tight end, and the angle route to the halfback. But let's not neglect the backside. Let's see if we can find a couple of routes here or a couple of plays where we can hit either that slot fade or that stick route from the outside receiver. There's a nice one to the stick route. Go ahead and get 5+. And there's a completion to the fade route there out of the inside slot man. And basically what I'm looking at if I'm, going to hit him, which like I said, very rarely am I looking on that backside. Usually I'm looking at these three reads on this front side. But if you're looking at that slot fade, my eyes directly go to the safety on that side of the field. If, he's moving over to cover these three routes on this side, if he's pulling up in the box and leaving that slot fade one-on-one, that's when I want to try and attack on, a back shoulder fade as we just kind of hit there on that play. Or if I feel like my inside slot man has the speed, which right here, as I talked about earlier, we're a little bit too close for him to kind of execute that speed. But, if you're a little bit further back down the field, that slot fade route becomes more viable depending on who he's matched up with in one-on-one coverage if that safety's not pulling out to cover that deep zone on that side of the field. And one more there to the backside curl just to show you those backside routes one more time. But as I said previously, to me, most of the action's coming on this front side with that cheat motion wheel route, that seam route from your tight end, or that angle route from the halfback. And let's try and hit those. Now that we've showcased all the other routes on this play, I definitely think those three are the most viable that I try and attack as we hit the halfback there. Go ahead and hit that seam route one more time to our tight end. And let's get one more good one here before we wrap up the play of the day here on February 24th. And there we are. Perfectly dropped in on the cheat wheel route there. The cheat option of the cheat clear out seam on this play. Perfect to win this one on a tutty. And I think you guys will really like this pass play here on College Football 26 as we wrap up our play of the day here on February 24th. So there you have it. A really good passing play here on College Football 26, in my opinion, that provides you multiple options, whether you want to attack downfield or use those routes as pull routes to be able to attack underneath with the underrated angle route to your halfback here in College Football 26. All of those, I think, very viable options on this play. So, throw it in your custom playbook. Check it out in the playbooks you can find it in. Of course, my custom playbook, motion PWR option, as we talked about here in this video, and of course the Minnesota playbook as well. Either way there, I think it's one that's very viable and that you will have success with here on College Football 26. But let me know your opinion. You've heard mine throughout the video. I'd love to hear yours as well. Drop it in the comment section down below, or any thoughts you have on the college football video game for that matter. Always enjoy chatting about the game with you guys. Plus, those interactions help me to continue to grow the JCCFB community here on YouTube. Having said that, I appreciate you tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.